Hey folks, Mike Johnson here. If it's got wheels and an engine, you're in the right place. On this channel, we dive into car repairs, maintenance tips, and everything you need to keep your ride running smooth. If you're into cars and want to keep learning, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it.
Fortunately, today's cars no longer have distributors. Modern engines use individual coil packs instead, which are much less complicated. But there are still countless vehicles on the road with a distributor lurking under the hood. And sometimes, these distributors need replacing. What is a distributor in a car? Before we talk about replacing distributors, let's talk about what a distributor is. You may never have heard of a distributor before, especially if you're a young millennial or a member of Generation Z. A distributor is an ignition component which, as its name suggests, distributes a spark to each of the engine's spark plugs. Voltage is sent from the ignition coil to the distributor cap via a spark plug wire. This voltage then travels from the center terminal of the cap to the rotor inside the distributor. As the distributor rotates, the rotor also rotates, distributing voltage to each of the cap's outer terminals, one at a time. The voltage then travels from each of the distributor's outer terminals, through individual spark plug wires, to each of the spark plugs. The spark plug then ignites, igniting the air-fuel mixture inside the engine. In most cases, the car's distributor also contains a trigger mechanism, usually a pickup coil, which monitors the distributor's rotation. The mechanism sends a signal to the engine control module or to the ignition control module. In some cases, the ignition module may also be located inside the distributor. The module uses information from the trigger mechanism, together with data from other engine sensors, to determine when to pull the spark plugs. To do the job, the module interrupts the current in the coils. The primary windings of the ignition coil, creating enough high voltage in the coil's secondary windings to ignite the spark plugs. In this way, the car's electronics can control ignition timing, which is the precise moment when spark is delivered to each of the engine cylinders. Most distributors have a gear at the bottom. This gear meshes with a gear on the camshaft. The distributor is driven off the camshaft so that ignition timing and engine timing are synchronized. In older vehicles, the distributor can be turned to adjust the basic ignition timing. But basic timing is often fixed on newer vehicles. Symptoms of a faulty distributor. As its name suggests, a distributor is an ignition component that distributes a spark to each of the engine's spark plugs. Abnormal noise. How to replace a distributor. Now for the fun part, replacing the distributor. Are you ready to grab some tools and get dirty? Good. We're going to discuss the replacement of a typical electronically controlled, non-adjustable distributor. Note, the outline below covers replacement when the crankshaft has not been turned. If the relationship between engine and distributor has been disturbed, for example, because the engine has been replaced, you will need to time the distributor to the engine. Before you start, bear in mind that all vehicles are different. Be sure to follow the repair information for your specific application. Repair manuals, such as those from Chilton, are useful, but an all-data subscription is even better. AllData offers single vehicle subscriptions for do-it-yourselfers that provide detailed factory repair information. Note, the following are general guidelines for educational and entertainment purposes only. Consult your vehicle's factory information for specific repair instructions and recommended safety procedures. The tools required to replace a distributor may vary depending on the type of car you own. But in general, you'll need a ratchet wrench and appropriately sized sockets and wrenches, safety glasses, screwdriver, some vehicles, torque wrench. How to remove the distributor. 1. Put on your safety glasses. 2. Disconnect negative battery cable. 3. If you are replacing the distributor cap, remove the spark plug wires. On the other hand, if you are using the cap, you can simply remove it from the distributor, with the plug wires attached, and set it aside. If you reuse the distributor cap, you can simply remove it from the distributor and set it aside. Note, all vehicles have a specific firing sequence. The plug wires must go to the correct terminal on the distributor cap. Otherwise, the firing order will be incorrect and the engine will run poorly or not at all. In some cases, the distributor cap and plug wires are numbered so they don't get mixed up. But if yours aren't numbered, make sure you mark them so they don't get mixed up. you can use a piece of tape and a pen to mark each plug wire. 4. Disconnect all electrical connectors from the distributor. Unplug all electrical connectors to remove the dispenser. 5. Mark the position of the distributor base in relation to the motor. You can use a permanent marker or whiteout to do this. The position must be marked to ensure that the new distributor is correctly aligned during installation. 6. Mark the position of the rotor, which way the tip points, in relation to the distributor housing. The position must be marked to ensure that the new distributor is correctly aligned during installation. 7. Remove the bolt and collar securing the distributor. 8. Remove the distributor by pulling it up and out of the motor. As the distributor is removed, the rotor will rotate slightly. Note the position of the rotor tip when it stops turning, and also mark this position in relation to the distributor housing. 9. Make sure the old distributor O-ring is removed from the motor. Caution: do not turn the engine crankshaft once the distributor has been removed. How to install a distributor. 1. Compare the new distributor with the old distributor to ensure that both are of the same design. Make sure that the replacement distributor and the old distributor are of the same design. 2. Make marks on the new dispenser in the exact location of the marks you made on the original unit during steps 5, 6, and 8 of the dispenser removal process. To do this, you'll need to remove the cap from the new dispenser. 3. Turn the dispenser by hand so that the rotor points at the same point as the mark made in step 8. You may need to play with the distributor to match the gear teeth on the camshaft. 4. Carefully install the distributor, with a new O-ring, in the engine. If everything has been done correctly up to this point, the rotor should turn, then line up with the marks made in step 5 and step 6. Note: you may need to fiddle with the distributor to ensure that its gear teeth match those of the camshaft. 5. Reinstall the distributor cap. Carefully reinstall the distributor cap. 6. Install the distributor clamp. Use a torque wrench to tighten the retaining bolt to the manufacturer's specifications. 7. Reinstall the electrical connectors to the distributor. 8. Reinstall spark plug wires according to engine ignition sequence. 9. Reconnect the negative battery cable. 10. Start the engine. If the vehicle is running or the check engine light is on, the distributor has been incorrectly installed. You will need to remove the dispenser and reinstall it. In addition, you may need to time the distributor to the engine, as described below. As mentioned, if the motor has been disturbed in any way, you will need to perform a few additional steps before installing the distributor. The marks made when the distributor was removed will no longer be valid, and you'll need to time the new distributor to the engine. Automotive distributor replacement cost: if you decide to have your distributor professionally replaced, which is a smart move if you unsure of your mechanical prowess, expect to pay between €300 and nearly €1,000. The job can be even more expensive if you have a luxury or high-end performance car. If you decide to tackle the job yourself, expect to pay between €100 and around €300 for a new or manufacturer distributor. In conclusion, understanding the symptoms of a defective distributor is crucial for maintaining your vehicle's performance. From rough idling to stalling, recognizing these signs early can save you time and money. When it comes to replacement costs, you can expect to spend anywhere from $100 to $600, depending on your vehicle's make and model. If you're considering a repair, remember that while it may be a more budget-friendly option, it requires a good understanding of your vehicle's mechanics. Always consult a professional if you're unsure. By staying informed and proactive, you can ensure your vehicle runs smoothly for years to come. Thank you for watching, and drive safely.